is obviously based on the comic strip written by Charles M. Schulz, and yeah, it's basically just a Peanuts movie. I mean, you all know what Peanuts is. I don't really need to explain it to you, but this is like a new CGI version of the Peanuts, and it's basically about Charlie Brown, who is the biggest nobody ever. He doesn't have like any friends. He's pretty much the biggest loser ever. And one day, this redhead girl moves into town, and he falls head over heels in love with her, and he wants to impress her, and he wants to be basically somebody. He wants to do something right. He wants to make himself not a loser. And basically this whole movie is him trying to impress this redhead girl, and I absolutely adored this movie. This is one of the best of the year. I've never seen a movie based off a comic strip do it this well, be that faithful to its source material, because the Garfield movie was really, really, really bad. This isn't like that. This is so faithful to its source material, and there's so many things in this movie that are taken straight from the comic strip and the old cartoons. I am a humongous Peanuts fan. Ever since I was little, I used to read the comics all the time. I used to watch the shows, like The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, for example. That's a classic. Something I never really mentioned about myself is that when I was younger, I was really into comics and cartoons and things. Like, I'm a humongous Garfield fan as well. Let me see if I can find one of my books. Okay. This one, for example, which is like for his 30th. Yeah, I was a big comic nerd when I was little. And when I was younger, I actually wanted to be a cartoonist in the paper, which is a really stupid idea because I can't draw. And I obviously don't keep stock in that plan now, but I really loved cartooning when I was a kid, and Peanuts was one of the cartoons I read all the time. And I was very skeptical for this movie because it's by Blue Sky, who made Ice Age and Rio, and they made the Ice Age sequels as well, which are very bad. Rio, the two movies, I haven't seen them, but I heard they were bad. And yeah, Blue Sky really doesn't have anything good about it, so I was really worried to see what they would do with this movie. This is the first amazing movie Blue Sky has ever made. I mean, I like the first Ice Age, but it's not amazing. This movie is amazing. I absolutely love how they didn't modernize this movie. There's no, like, tablets or iPods or phones or anything. These characters play outside. They do things that kids in the past would do, and I love that. Because Peanuts is like, I don't know how old, like the 50s or something? Peanuts is old. My dad used to read them when he was a kid. I'm sure my grandfather used to read them when he was a kid. And I was really afraid they were going to modernize it, but they really didn't. This is so faithful to its source material. And one thing I also love about this movie is Charlie Brown himself. Now, Charlie Brown is one of the best characters ever created. I mean, he's the biggest loser ever. He gets nothing right. And you're just always rooting for this guy because he never does anything right. And he's so relatable. He's one of the most relatable characters of all time. I mean, he's a big loser who doesn't have any friends. That's relatable. He's a kid in, like, probably middle school. He's probably like around that age. And he's in love with someone. This is all stuff that people go through when they're kids. They'll probably have a crush on some girl when they're young, and they'll struggle to be popular, and it's just, even though this movie is basically a cartoon, it's very realistic. I mean, this is what kids are like. I was like Charlie Brown when I was young. He's such a relatable character. And I'm gonna be honest, when Charlie Brown was going through tough times in this movie, I choked up a little bit. I might have teared up a little bit too. I didn't actually cry, but I'm pretty sure I actually teared up. I mean, you feel so bad for this little dude every time something goes wrong for him because he's just such a likable character and you want to see things go well for him. And also, the score of this movie is phenomenal. It's obviously the stuff from the old cartoons and things. It's incredible. When this movie started, they were playing like the snowy theme when they were like skating around on the ice. I was fanboying out. They also have the iconic Linus and Lucy theme. It's incredidible. And they do have a little bit of modern music in this movie, but it's not like obnoxious. They play actual good music that's tolerable. And I already mentioned Charlie Brown, but the characters in the movie are genius. Lucy is always hilarious. Schroeder is awesome. Linus is incredible. Sally is hilarious and adorable. It would take me way too long to name everyone else. There isn't one single unlikable character in the entire Peanuts series. In all of Peanuts, you love pretty much everyone. And of course, Snoopy and Woodstock. They're so genius! And Snoopy is hilarious. I was cracking up so many times in this movie when he was doing his flying ace stuff, because there's like an entire subplot of this movie based off Snoopy's imagination, him pretending to be a flying ace, and that was hilarious. I was laughing so much. He's a genius character. Woodstock is also basically his sidekick. He's also hilarious. And there's so many references to the comics that I just catch and I was like, yes! Yes! What the heck am I doing? You won't be able to catch them if you're not like a huge Peanuts fan like I am, but every time I caught references to the comics, I was freaking out inside. If this doesn't get nominated for Best Animated Picture like Lego Movie got snubbed, I'm never watching the Academy Awards again. I'm serious. I am never. So guys, if you're looking for me to have flaws with this movie, it's a Peanuts movie that's really faithful to its source material. You don't really go through nitpicking it and trying to think of flaws. It's just a Peanuts movie. It's just for the fans of Peanuts, and it really succeeds in everything it's trying to do. I mean, there's not really any problems with this movie. This is just a movie for fans of the Peanuts series. That's all it really is. And if you're not really a fan of Peanuts, you'll probably just think it's a fine movie. But me, being a fan of the Peanuts, I thought this was an incredible movie. So guys, I'm gonna give the Peanuts movie an A. It is one of the best movies of the year. So guys, if you like this movie, be sure to give it a like and a subscribe, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram and all that shizzle. And also, on a completely different topic, I just wanted to mention that Anna Kendrick was in a Star Wars Battlefront trailer, and it was freaking incredible, and I loved it. A plus 10 out of 10!